I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss.
Pacers were going to make the playoffs. It didn't end so well for you, brother.
If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool.
You fell asleep at the trade deadline when we had a trade to get Kyle Lowry out of here.
Found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me keep on running toes. They gonna take
This
it.
is what we got to tell.
Every fan doing this.
I felt it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I pay for the cost. I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself. I felt it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I'm paying the cost. I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome. What's up, people?
What's going
on? It's Thursday, y'all. How y'all feeling today?
Feeling better than ever right now. Feeling better than ever.
Let's see how them Eagles gonna feel tonight after this game. We gonna see. We gonna see what's gonna happen tonight.
In my AJ voice.
Nah, man, but I'm feeling really great today. You know, today has been a great day. The show is gonna be great, you know. But before we get started, let me introduce my guy Tomo, because I'm not here by myself. I'm Davey Dollars, by the way. You know, I wasn't here on the last show. You know, Joe and Tomo held it down on Tuesday when they had the show, and it was a really great show as well. And then we had a members only, you know, show as well. If you aren't an all-star above, you might want to make sure you become one ASAP, because there was some fireworks in there, you know. But you're not gonna know that until you become a member. So snooze, you lose. But Tomo, how you doing today, my guy?
I'm all right. Is my screen jumping?
Somewhat. Mine is kind of sort of do a little bit too.
Oh, all right, cool. Long as I don't have a Joe moment, you know, looking like Josh Allen out there. You know, I'm glitching on the court as a quarterback.
Out there throwing 3 picks in the fumble.
Hey, man, it's ugly out there on Monday nights. They call it AT&T in North. That's why, man.
Okay. But I mean, we can't get started without anything, because if y'all don't, one thing, we made history today, y'all. We made history today. And one of our chats, we finally have a lady a part of the chats. We finally got one. The only thing is she's a Cowboy fan.
Hey, hold on. You called me mid celebration. Hold on, that was perfect timing for you, man. What's wrong with you there? That was a good setup.
That's the only thing. She rocking with them, you know, them boys, I guess.
Look, head to the Cowboys. Yeah, Joe.
But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's Thursday. We are officially 104 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. 104.
Told y'all.
We said we was gonna get there. It's steadily approaching. Football season here, so that's what's getting there. So I can only say one thing: turn me up. Turn me up. Look, it's going to be a great show today. Can't wait for everything to get started. Tomo, you know, enjoy the show today, everyone. Tomo, go ahead and get started, my guy.
Man, seems like the first topics, they usually be the setting, the tone setters for the episode, right? But yesterday we started off with some sad news because we had to talk about Josh Allen throwing picks unless you were part of the FJA. But today we got to flip it. You know, we gotta be more serious today. We got to talk about a more serious topic, because again, these NFL and NBA. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna just put it on 2. I'm gonna say athletes across the board, because there's a lot of news, and you know, with domestic violence happening, it happens in baseball, it happens in soccer, It seems like it's only talked about when an NFL or NBA player does it, based upon what background you come from, if it's going to be highlighted or not. So recently, I think it was 2 days ago. I don't know when the actual incident happened. So first things first, I know we're gonna say this across the board. Condolences go out to the young lady. Make sure I got her name corrected because she was a former WNBA star, Kierce. I can't say her last name, so I'm gonna say Kierce G. I'm not good with last names. So I don't want to do that. So condolences go out to you, man. We hope you're all right. Nothing serious happened to her as far as like fatality. She's still alive, but it's still a messed up experience that she went through. We got to talk about NBA star Kevin Porter Jr. Seems like him and his girlfriend had an altercation happen where he ended up getting arrested for it. I'm not going to go into details again about what happened with her, but he did allegedly. They're going to say he allegedly assaulted his girlfriend, and it ended up in him getting arrested. So Joe sent the doghouse. That's why. Dave,
I just got that alert too.
yep. As soon as he said, I was gonna say thank you, Joe. But yeah. So Dave, take it away, man. Tell me your reactions on this.
All right. So my reaction is almost how I treat every serious situation until everything comes out. Um, I'm still on hold on my judgment of Kevin Porter Jr. until we actually see what happens. Obviously, this is a devastating situation when it comes to either one of them. For one, for her, it's even more serious because this involved her life. It could have possibly been ended because of the seriousness of exactly what the details was of what happened. From what I heard, she may have got some fractures, and that's some things that's not easy to deal with. Um, but for Kevin Porter Jr., this is obviously costing him his career. But if everything is true, then I don't see how he still has a career in the NBA. We know some things have gotten serious, and some things need to change, especially when it comes to certain situations that are very serious. Especially domestic violence. Domestic violence is nothing to joke about. It's nothing to be it's nothing to not take seriously. So this is something that has to be taken care of. Of course, we have to wait for all the court proceedings and see exactly how this goes. If he pleads guilty or not guilty, what's he found of, if he gets convicted and anything. So we're still waiting on these details, but there were some new details that came out from her party that said that they're refuting any of the allegations. So they're saying that that did not happen. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. I feel like it's crazy. I don't think he got arrested for nothing. So we'll see.
And if you've seen the pictures, it looked like he wasn't. Pictures when he first got arrested, the ones him walking into the jailhouse. It looked like he was in an altercation. Again, I don't know what happened. We all really don't know what happened, but we also not gonna sit up here and do any type of victim blaming or any prosecution because again, we're not the court of law. But for me, it's more so when you're in these positions, and I know there's a thing that happens with everyone. We all have a moment where our temper and we could just black out. But you also got to think about it like this, man. Life is just like Twitter. Once you hit send, sometimes you can delete the tweet, but the actions in life are ripple effects. So whatever you do ripples down onto your others. So I was listening to a conversation a few days ago about karma, and people kept talking about, do you believe in karma, or where does the karma come from? And most people say we fall from the sins of our fathers. So even if the karma don't affect you, it can affect your kids. And this situation right here, your NBA player, this situation affects your entire family. Now, and it happens every day in households. Some households, the temper goes left, and then next thing you know, things can get physical, and we don't know about it. However, if you're an NBA player, you already know what time it is. Once the 911 call happens, regardless if you did it or if they did it to themselves, it's on you. So you have to find a way to control your temper in any scenario. This goes for all men. I mean, again, like I said earlier, things can happen and you can black out. True. But you have to find a way to center yourself in those moments and not let somebody else control your anger. And that's one of the things that I had to work on myself. Not saying like the domestic side, just as far as letting someone else get me out of my character. Like, why do I allow you that type of power? And most people say, man, that's why you so monotone and just to yourself. I'm like, yeah, bro, because at the end of the day, I gotta control myself. Like I know what I'm capable of, so I'm gonna control myself to help you out in those situations. So to Kevin Porter, you may not ever play in the NBA again. You already was walking a thin line as far as just your attitude in the NBA, and now this right here may have ruined your career forever, and it definitely ruined her life because this is a mark on her name too. Because when you search her name now, it's not gonna bring up WNBA. It's gonna bring up this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Yeah.
say this is one of those moments where I'm not supposed to do it. You're done, son, today. But Kevin Porter, you might be done, son.
Yeah, you might be. You might be. If everything comes out saying that all those things are true, then yeah, you done. And right now, the Rockets are actively doing their best to trade you. My only
Who
thing is, what NBA team is stupid enough to take on someone with this situation?
the
Yeah,
P
there
is
may
a
be
PR
someone.
nightmare. One, it's a PR nightmare. No matter what team you're on, you got to think about it. The NBA ain't like the NFL where you could tuck somebody away. Like he gonna be on the bench. We already got a
Mm-hmm.
problem with fans storming the court. We got an issue where we talk about fans throwing stuff at players. And
Mm-hmm.
and in this situation, like I said, people have family members. That's the one thing
Mm-hmm.
people don't always think about when they react to certain situations. Is like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, of course you know my friends, but you forget I have a family too.
Yep. And her sister came out and said something as well. And I don't think that was smart to do, but that's something else as well. That's another thing that there's some things involved. So let's hope that this I'm not gonna say smooths over because you can't smooth something like this over, but let's hope this is it for whatever for that situation, and nothing else happens out of this, and whatever justice needs to be served gets served. So just waiting on seeing exactly how things get handled, and hoping that she's okay. My condolences to her and her family, and I just want justice to be served. Like I said, I'm still holding out on how I feel about the situation because I'm still waiting to see if he's actually convicted and guilty. So, but all I'm saying is I don't believe he got locked up for nothing.
We on the same page, but I have my manager's in the background, so she out here walking by. She's out of here now. Okay. So that right there, hey Kevin Porter. See, this is why we really supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it for the future, man. Make sure you
Mhm.
thinking about your kids when you react to these certain situations.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And again, if anybody, I don't have a phone number right now, but you know how on TV shows where they bring up it after a serious conversation. If you know anybody or you know about anybody that's going through a domestic situation, hey, go on your phone, Google the domestic violence hotline number. I wish I had it. I would have been more professional, but hey, right, last thing, for I just randomly thought about it.
Yep.
Now,
Make sure you give that call.
yeah, now with that being said, we got to announce some other shows that we have here on the network. You know, we just don't want to move. We don't want to breeze past that, but we gotta, you gotta move on some kind of way. So we're gonna treat it
Hmm.
like your Twitter timeline. We're gonna scroll. We're gonna bookmark that, but we're gonna scroll back over to some sports. All right, because we got some shows on the network. I don't have the graphics up with me. Shout out to my producer. He gonna kill me later, but I see you in the comments. So we got BWT. That's baseball with Teddy. Teddy was sadly at a Red Sox game earlier, so he might not do an episode this evening. But we'll see if for all your intermediate, rookie, or veteran knowledge as far as baseball, it all goes through BWT. That's baseball with Teddy. Also,
So good, so good.
knew you was gonna celebrate. I knew it. I knew it. Also, we got CTC. That's Carl Talking College. I'm gonna let Dave tell you a little bit about Carl Talking College. I watched a few episodes. Hey, the Terps is gonna take down MSU in week 4, but tell them more about CTC.
Hey, CTC is the place to be. If you want to learn about college, CTC is where to go. If you want to hear the breakdowns of games, CTC is where to go. You want to hear about certain situations happening, like Colorado, CTC is where to go. You want to learn more about college sports. You want to talk about that. This is college football and college basketball, men and women's. But right now, it's strictly college football because we still have a little over 50 days away before we get to college basketball. So right now, it's strictly college football, and I'm telling you, you missing out on some gems by not tuning into CTC because Carl knows exactly what he's talking about. I don't know anyone that has as much college knowledge as he does. He is like the college Negrodamus. I swear he is because he knows everything. He knows everything in college. So trust me, you want to tune into CTC.
Also, we have a fantasy football show. Our next guest is going to come up because it's FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. We're going to bring Coach up. We're going to let him tell you more about his show because who better to tell you about his show than the guy who runs the show? So, Coach, tell the folks why they need to tune into FFC outside of you giving out roster grades.
Well, one, that was fun. And hey, my grades are a little bit glitchy, like Josh Allen's performance due to producing sabotage, so that'll be another topic for another day. So I understand the sympathy that I will need to give to the Refuse to Lose drafted rosters. I understand the 30 seconds was ridiculous, Joe. Come on, man. We got to talk, Joe. We got to talk. 30 seconds. Oh, my goodness. But outside of that, you come to FFC, you come get yourself some great fantasy football advice, i.e. Romeo Dobbs. Who picked up Romeo Dobbs when they listened to Coach and got 2 touchdowns out of that? I do have to apologize for the players that went on that roster that Coach told you to. Hopefully the Steelers will redeem themselves. But again, on FFC, those are the things we talk about. We talk about what happened in these weekly games. We go through. We got an episode tomorrow. We got a lot of starting sits we have to talk about. We have some of the actions from last week's games we have to talk about a little bit till we go into the next week. But in FFC with Coach, man, we're going to have a fun time talking about every week all these amazing players that are stepping on the field playing some great football. Mac Jones out of nowhere. Who saw that coming? Dak not throwing a pick. Man, I was shocked. With the 40-point win. With the 40-point win. There's a lot of players had Coach eating crow. And Coach goes on my show, and I point it out. If I call him out, I point it out. It's that simple and it's that fair. Brock Purdy, man of the hour. He showed Coach, I am the guy, not Trey. Sorry, Trey. You third on the roster in Dallas. It is what happens. You don't get to suit up. That's the NFL, and that's the ugly sides of it. But we talk about points. We talk about lineups. We talk about who we got to bench. We talk about the busters that gave us donuts, and we talk about the heroes that won us the week. That is FFC, everybody.
Hey, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from Coach's mouth to y'all ears, or your eyes and ears, because you're seeing it. So make sure y'all check out FFC, CTC, and BWT, all on the R2L network. Look, that's a lot of acronyms, but we ain't in no huddle right now. We just telling y'all what we providing for y'all. Now,
I got 30 seconds next year too.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with it. As long as I get the number 1 pick next year. As long as I get the number 1.
You better pick the right song for the algorithm next time.
Man, I'm gonna go into detail about that one day, but not right now. It worked. I got top 5. That's all I can say. But
hey, I got the same place I got last year, so I'm good.
I got another Cowboy fan that's a little upset about that, but again, we'll go on FFC to talk about that part. But speaking of FFC, fantasy football, now we got to actually talk about some football because again, Coach did all his rankings, but the NFL also dropped some power rankings. Now you talk about busters who gave you 0 points. I ain't gonna call them NFL players busters, but they showed up like some. You know what I mean? NFL power rankings came out. They said here are the top 5 teams. I'm gonna give them to you if you don't know. We got the 49ers at number 1. Sorry, Dave. We got the Chiefs at number 2. We got the Eagles at number 3, the Cowboys at 4, and the Dolphins at 5. Now I'm gonna go to you first, Coach, because you just came up here. Do you have a problem with that ranking?
I absolutely do. Absolutely. Oh, I wasn't gonna come on here and do anything else but disagree with that. Why are the Chiefs there? Didn't they just take a loss? And there like 11 other teams that got to win, a better win than what they just did with the performance they have, with those non-receivers, just a bunch of guys that can run around in circles? There's no way the Chiefs should be top 5. There is no way they put up a top 5 performance. Patrick Mahomes put up a top 5 performance by himself. Okay? If he could have ran down the field and caught the ball, he probably would have did it. That was a horrible performance. There's no way they should be top 5. Everybody else in there I'm actually fine with, but there's no way Chiefs should be in there. Absolutely not. Who was it? Missing the team. Goodness gracious.
Talking about from the 5?
Huh?
Talking about from the top 5, or you just thinking about
No.
who need to be
Somebody
there?
else who should be in that top 5 that had a really great win this past over the weekend.
The Jets?
The Browns.
I
couldn't get the B word. The Browns.
I'm glad you said that one and not the other one.
It wasn't gonna be the Steelers if that was news.
Oh wow.
The Browns, bro, they literally beat up on the Bengals. They only allowed 82 yards total. Like, come on. Why are they not in that top 5? What's keeping them out?
Their name. So I was gonna say who. So how you ranking that? You're taking the Chiefs out. So who you got?
How I would rank that would be 49ers number 1. It actually would be Cowboys number 2. I mean, they put up a 40-point performance. Most of that was on that defense alone. That really says a lot. 3, I would put the Miami Dolphins. Let's see. Who was the other team in the top 5?
They have 49ers, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys.
Eagles 4, and then Browns 5.
Okay.
Eagles won, but they didn't put up a strong performance. Let's say we ranked it off college performance, right? They let that game stay close. So for me, there's nothing powerful about the performance you put up.
So based on that, wouldn't you have the Browns ahead of the Eagles?
Should be.
Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely, based off that defense alone, yep. Because the Browns did manhandle everything about the Bengals, so yeah.
Okay, Dave, how you feeling about this top 5? I mean, you number 1, so.
Yeah, I'm okay with us being number 1. I'm honestly, I would have been okay if it was us or the Cowboys, because I seen what the Cowboys did. They are the only team that had a blowout win, a shout out, by the way. So we're not blowout, but the only shout out.
Away from it.
It was the only one that, yeah, but still, we still allowed a touchdown. I mean, but Coach, I have to kind of disagree with you when it comes to when you're talking about the Chiefs. The reason why I say that is because 2 of their best players weren't on the field. Travis Kelce was not there because he had an injury 2 days right before the game and practice. So he wasn't able to make it. So I'm not going to fault them for losing to an up-and-coming Lions team that was a high-power offense last year. And all they missing is one receiver who's suspended, who they missed last year too. And their defense has improved. They have a safety back there who was in the Super Bowl last year, CJ Gardner-Johnson. So that improved their defense. So no, I'm not going to put them. I'm not going to drop them all the way down just because they lost by 1 point to an up-and-coming Lions team. And now they get both of those players back. You don't think they're going to bounce right back the very next game with Travis Kelce in there and Chris Jones, who now just signed a 1-year, $25 million deal?
They could, but they could also lose by another point again.
That's yet to be seen. How many times have we?
One offensive weapon. I mean, just one.
For one, this is Patrick Mahomes' first time losing in the first game of the season since he started. So that was an anomaly. So I'm not going to drop them down for that. So I'm okay with having them up there. If you want to replace somebody in that top 5 based on their performance, then all right, I guess it's okay. Putting the Browns up there. I'm okay with that because they did dominate against the Bengals. And Coach, this is why I benched Joe Burrow. I was like, look, I don't like the matchup.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Absolutely right to that one.
He don't play well. He doesn't play well with that. And the only team I would replace in that top 5 would be the Eagles, just because they struggled against the Patriots. And even though we know that the Patriots have a really good defense, because they had a really great defense last year. They were second in the NFL in sacks all last year. So they have a regular defense. They still have Bill Belichick there. They now have an offensive coordinator there who's there to help Mac Jones. If it wasn't for a couple of plays, maybe the Patriots would have won that game. But at the end of the day, the Eagles won that game. But it was a very close game, which most people probably didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't.
So
Same.
and honestly, I mean, Joe says it right here.
Go ahead.
Where was their offense?
14 into the fourth quarter, so it was a close game.
It was a very close game. I didn't expect it to be. Well, I'm not saying that I expected the Eagles to blow them out, but I expected them to at least be in the
Double
lead.
digits, maybe.
Yeah. I expected maybe a 10-point win, maybe. So I expected that, but hey, either way, the Eagles still won the game. So I'm not dropping them all the way down to like 10. If I replace them with the Browns, they're gonna be right after them.
Yes, I'm with that. I'm saying with that. And based off of the explanation for the Chiefs, I mean, everything is absolutely right. So I can understand the argument of keeping the Chiefs there based on that argument. It was only a 1-point win. I think more of my anger of why they lost really is because it was just such a poor, and everything was poor outside of outside of Patrick Mahomes, and I think that's why I was more forced to drop him out because if the loss was more collective, I can understand the power ranking, but it was pathetic, and I get it. Kelsey comes back, but that's a lot to put on one man when at least Kelsey had help with Juju last year and with I forgot who else was there with McKinney how you say it right? McKinney or McKinnon? Maybe to pronounce his name.
Jarek McKinnon. You talking about the running back, right?
Yeah, Jarek McKinnon.
He was a little bit better last year. You know what I mean? There was a little bit more help. But when you look at that roster right now, it's just Travis Kelsey. That's it.
I mean, technically, that's what it was last year. People said the same thing last year. They said last year it was just
Juju was a good fit for him. It helped. It helped.
I didn't think it was a big difference. He did help. I'm not saying he didn't help.
He ain't dropping balls like Kadarius Toney.
Hold on. I just thought about something. I didn't even give my 5. We all in the debate. Hold on. Let me
You're right.
I just thought about that.
Let Tomo say his spiel first before we rebuttal that.
Now they set up here. They said the Cowboys was 4. Did their opponent score?
Nope.
I don't think they scored. They even missed a field goal. That's how bad that day was.
Yep.
One was blocked and they just missed one flat out.
Yeah. Ever since that block field goal, it was a wrap.
So I'm gonna say we definitely number 2, only
Wrap
because of the opponent.
Look.
Don't worry about it. I got Cowboy Nation waiting for y'all in the chat. But I'm gonna say we number 2. I'm only gonna go number 2 because I never believed in the Giants. I'm sorry. I never personally believed in the Giants.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
We like we say all the time. We had 2 people in the chat that did. But
and you know what's funny? One of those people, their team lost badly to the 49ers. So look, boom. Kenny Pickett didn't show up. It was like Patrick Peterson knew where all the passes was going, but he just wasn't there. That's what it was like. So I'm gonna get a 49ers 1 because of the opponent level, Cowboys 2. I'm gonna jump the Dolphins to 3 because Tua. Did you see the performance? Like,
yes,
we got Reels doing numbers saying that Tyreek is the best receiver in the league now. They giving him his just due off of that one game when he clearly showed y'all that that's what it was.
And look,
hold on, let me finish right quick. I'm gonna say the Chiefs at number 4 because of the situation. It was too many drops, just too many drops. I can't blame a team for drops. I can blame a receiver though. And I'm gonna go with the Browns, regardless of the weather and regardless of how Deshaun Jackson played. They came out and made Joe Burrow and them look like they weren't even a team that went to the Super Bowl before. So I got to put them at 5. Eagles at 6. I'm gonna just say that so they can fly somewhere else. But yeah, that's my 5.
Tomo, we pretty much got the same rankings.
Hey, last time we agreed, man, it got ugly for some people.
Yep, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We seem to be right when we agree sometimes.
Hey, see you in the championship.
I don't know about that, but
okay. What you was about to say, Coach, before we move on?
One thing I noticed about Tua's performance. So one thing I got on last year was how his numbers looked. Right, they had 4 touchdowns, but he only had 180 something yards, and he was only throwing for like 11 for 19. Like, you know, the makeup of what they were doing last year was not the proper makeup to keep a quarterback like that healthy, because all you're telling me with those types of numbers, you're just throwing it down the field, getting quick touchdowns. You looked at those numbers this year. You saw the mid-range balance. He had over 300 yards. He was 25 for 28. Like his numbers were closer, but he was throwing more efficient, and the ball was getting out of his hands quicker. And instead of him falling backwards, instead of them bootlegging him out to release the ball, hey, he got this Jordan jump throw. I'll take it. I bet you he stays on the field longer than the way he was throwing last year. Some people might call it ugly. Tyreek Hill called it 212 yards.
True. That is true.
Yeah,
Well,
threw for 466 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Woo, close to 500 yards.
Earned AFC of the Offensive Player of the Week honors.
and I think Tyreek got like 40 points alone in fantasy.
44.
Look at that. Look at that.
44 points.
Hey, 2-1 win my game, so I'm happy.
Hey, I had the Cowboys defense in another league. That's why when you're in a league with Cowboy fans, you gotta go somewhere else where it's a lot of haters. Then you can get the players you want.
Yeah,
Before we move on, we got to talk about our IG chats. You know, we have a bunch of chats, and you know how to become a member, because we literally just got our first lady member in the NFL chat. But we open for more. We open for more. You know, we're very diverse. We're a diverse group. So Dave, I'm gonna let you take it away and tell them about these IG chats.
Yeah, so these IG chats, y'all, we let me just say me. I do most of the breaking news in there. So all the latest news here first, I post them as soon as I get the information. So when the Chris Jones news dropped, I posted it. It was out there before Bleacher Report reported it, before ESPN did. So when the news comes, I make sure I put it out as soon as possible. Now, we all have lives, so I'm not always there every single time it happens because I'm still a father. I still work. But you get all the latest news here first. Trust me. When we did the NFL draft, Coach was on it. He will tell you that every single draft that I announced was at least 2 minutes before it was announced on TV. So I'm just letting you know.
We're ahead of the game here, people.
We ahead of the game. So we have these chats are only on Instagram at this moment. As we grow, it'll more than likely we'll move it to another platform. But right now we're just on Instagram. So we have the NBA mixed in with the WNBA chat. The WNBA playoffs just started. The Aces, of course, did what they were supposed to do and beat a team by 30. So they did what they were supposed to do. But shout out to my Mystics. You know, we're gonna do what we got to do, get back into that championship. So Mystics, let's get it. Shout out to the NFL. As you see, we have Coach on here. Shout out to Coach who does FFC. He does all fantasy football talk. You know, Tom already went over all of that, so I don't have to really go too much into it. And Coach already talked to you about how passionate he is about fantasy football. So there you go, right there. But all the latest news here, when it comes to that, put it right in there. BWT, everything that involves baseball. The Red Sox just fired Bloom today. So this is something that I also predicted. I said that we would fire him because they didn't like the moves, and there were no big moves made in the offseason or even during the trade deadline. So, let's see what's going to happen, Sox Nation. Let's see. We have college football and college basketball, men and women. CTC covers all of that. So if you want to know more about it, you can watch CTC or join the chats, but it's not free anymore. So you can't just join. And then we have the boxing chat mixing with the UFC and WWE. Coach loves WWE, so he sends a lot of WWE stuff in there. I know I had said this already, but rest in peace again to Bray Wyatt. That's something that recently happened. And then shout out to wasn't it Edge who finally retired? So my man. Happy retirement for you. But also in boxing, we see that there are a lot of people ducking Shakur Stevenson. And now he finally has a fight with someone who we didn't expect to see. But we'll see. Some people are saying that this might be more of an might be a better boxing opportunity. It may not be the name that we wanted to see, but it'll be some. It'll be something. And as far as we know, we don't know exactly when the rematch clause is going to happen for Spence and Crawford, but he did submit his request for it. So we'll see when it happens. Tomo, back to you.
So with that being said, I know we usually tell y'all about these later, but if you click the link in the description below, this is how you can join these chats because we got a very special segment for y'all. So we gotta get this out the way early. So if you click the link in the description below, you can become a member today. We have the 3 levels at the membership. We have the pro level, we have the all-star level, and the superstar level. The pro level for $2.99. So with that, you get loyalty badges next to your name and live chats, as you can see here. And we gotta say, I'll save that for later. I'll save it for later. And we get priority comments as well with the pro level, and you get to join one sports chat. So all of the chats that Dave told you about, you get to join one. And also you get an all-star. We have an all-star level for $4.99 a month. That's members only. You get members only content. You also get to join multiple chats, and you get to request a topic or segment nominee. The segments for that right now are, excuse me, is "You Done Son," Not So Average Top 5, and Dave's Doghouse. And we got a doghouse for you today. Let me bring this up. We got to bring up the superstar level. I'm sorry I didn't show y'all the all-star level. Got some technical difficulties over here, but we working with it. So with the superstar level, you get the same perks from the all-star and the pro level, but for $9.99 a month, you get to join the R2L chat. You get to be a guest on the show, and you also get awards and plaques to the top performers, and you get member shout-outs. For the awards and plaques, that's based upon the episode that you were on and the numbers that your episode do. So if your episode go crazy, then you're probably going to win an award for that episode and the sport. I want to throw that out there too. So if you're talking about football, you may be NFL MVP. And speaking of NFL MVP, we want to give a quick shout out to JMO. You know, he won the MVP. So we got to say happy birthday to you, JMO. You know, MVP. Tubby Tua did his thing.
There you go. MVP. Happy birthday, my guy.
And with that being said, I'm going to shout out a few more of our members too, because you want to be a member, but you also want to shout out, right? You want to be like, man, I'm paying for this. So we got to say shout out to Vaughn, Jerry, Donnell, myself, Dave, Joe, Teddy, Cardo, and Coach. These are all superstar members. And if you watch the episodes and you see any episodes they participated on, you see why we superstars. So understand why you need to be a superstar. Now let's take this back and talk a little bit of sports because, you know, we got the housekeeping out the way. So we got to touch on one more thing because a game is about to start in a few minutes. You know, actually, you want to do the doghouse now? Or you want to talk about the game?
Let's do the game first, and not the
Right,
doghouse.
let's get this game out the way. So we got Thursday night. We're gonna do the predictions in 30. We're gonna do a quick prediction of who we got winning, and then we're gonna follow back with Coach so we can set our lineups right quick. All right. So for me, I'm gonna pick the Eagles just because I still don't trust Kirk Cousins on primetime. Dave, who you got?
Same Eagles. Although, you know, when Coach starts talking, I'm hoping that my guy has a great game tonight. Even though the last time he played against this team, he did not. So I'm hoping that he does. But Eagles. That's all I can really say. Primetime Kirk, I don't trust. So Eagles.
Coach.
I gave Kirk a lot of love throughout the years. A lot of love. I've been a Kirk Cousins fan for a very, very long time. Last year was the peak. I had them going to the Super Bowl. They didn't make it though, but they made it to the playoffs. You know, they got over a threshold they never have before for in a long time. In a long time. They ain't going back. That's done. What you saw against Tampa Bay, that's what you're gonna get up out these Vikings. Eagles have a statement to make off of that week 1 win, but not the win they may have wanted. You know, it's a win is a win, no matter how you look at it. But if you're a team like the Eagles, you're gonna look at that win as a bad win. You know, you're gonna look at that one on your calendar as an asterisk. You didn't like how that went down. You didn't really have the control you wanted in that game. They're gonna come out in this game knowing the way Kirk Cousins is, knowing the defense that they have, and they're gonna fix that issue, and they're gonna come out with a solid win this week. I still got Vikings putting up some good points, but I'm predicting the Eagles win this one 34-30.
Okay. Now, as far as fantasy players, who you got? Who should we be
As far as
putting in our
fantasy,
lineup?
hopefully you don't have either one of these defenses in your lineup because I do believe both teams are going to score on each other. Eagles could potentially get more turnovers in this game, maybe one. I just don't know if they're going to take one to the house. That's what worries me. So that's why I'm worried about starting any one of the defenses. If you're in an 8 to 10 man league, receiving wise on the Eagles, you should not touch anything below Dallas Goedert, i.e. Jalen Rager, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert are the only players you should be touching that deep in receiving. As it pertains to running back, in an 8 to 10 man league, you should not touch anything past DeAndre Swift in this game. I still don't think he's going to do anything, but if he's a flex player for you, he could at least get in the end zone, get you 10, 11 points. So I'm okay if you have him starting in an 8 to 10 man league. Deeper, you may not want to touch him. There's so many other options in deeper leagues. Even in 8 to 10 man, there's still better options. But if you have him on your roster, it's okay. I really hope DeAndre Swift is not one of your first 3 running back picks because it's going to be detrimental to your roster. It really is because I think Gainwell has taken the lead in this backfield, and I think that's going to continue. So if you have Kenneth Gainwell, big ups, please start him in this game tonight. I do believe he's going to get in the end zone. He got in the end zone all last year. Every other running back that did all the hard work, Kenneth Gainwell was the one getting all the goal line end zone work. And he was scoring last year in fantasy football. He wasn't getting yards. I think they're opening that up more. I saw that in the game as I'm rewatching as well. They opened that up a little bit more for Kenneth Gainwell, and I think he's going to take that lead role. As far as the Vikings, you do start Jettas. No matter what corner is holding him, he's too explosive, even in a bad game, to sit. You have to sit. You have to start him. I am starting the Vikings tight end as well. Kirk Cousins loves him a good tight end. I'm also starting the rookie Addison as well. I thought it was going to be KJ Osborne. He's not. I don't think he's going to get any love. I didn't know if the rookie was ready yet. I just thought they may have, I thought Kenneth Gainwell in the beginning, Osborne in the beginning of the season would take that number 2 role and let the rookie would ease his way in. Nope, that job just got stolen, and it's going to be Jordan. It's going to be Addison from here moving forward. So yes, please have him in your lineup as well. If you have Kirk Cousins and he's your best options, obviously, I don't think you have a choice unless you plan on dropping him and picking something else up off the waiver wire. He's going to probably be good for 20, maybe 18 if he only gets 1 touchdown. But I think he may be good for 2. But it's prime time. It is Kirk Cousins, and I just think the Vikings altogether are just going to lose. But per fantasy, you're looking at a range between 18 and 24 points for Kirk Cousins.
Hey, Coach, I just want to throw this out here. Gainwell was out for tonight, so it's all Swift.
Oh, thank you for that information. So, if you have DeAndre Swift, put him in your lineup. He's going to get all the carries. He's going to get all. Don't get me wrong. They're going to use Boston Scott as well, and they're going to use who's the third running back?
Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kenneth Gainwell with him being out. Yes, please.
It's Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny's the other one.
Don't worry about it. No. Go ahead. Put DeAndre Swift in the lineup. He's actually probably gonna get hosted tonight, and they're gonna do it on purpose to make sure they don't have to get rid of him.
Man, that is true.
So yeah, I would put him in. So yeah, Kenneth Gainwell. DeAndre Swift. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is going to put up big numbers. I think Jalen Hurts might score 30 tonight, like in fantasy numbers. And that's if he vultures 2 rushing touchdowns. Because I think he'll throw for 1, maybe 2 touchdowns. I still think the passing numbers are going to still be below 200. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to throw for 300 yards until later in the season. I don't think it's going to be that kind of game, unless the Vikings come out in that ugly cover 2 defense. Then the field is just more open for Jalen to throw the ball around. And yeah, he could have a 300+ yard game, and he could have 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. But I think Jalen could possibly have 4 touchdowns total to himself tonight via passing and running.
Joe, no, Rashad Penny did not get released. That wasn't him. That was someone else that got cut.
No, he's still on the roster, but I don't think he's doing nothing.
Yep,
yeah. It was the other guy that was with the 49ers that they picked up last year that they cut.
If you have Alexander Madison, I would mention.
I would too.
I don't think he's going to be able to run on this defense. The Cowboys, the Patriots weren't able to run.
Yeah,
that's one thing. That's one thing you're not doing on this Eagles defense is running the football.
Yeah, nah.
And I think that's why.
Oh no, I'm gonna let you finish. I was gonna say, I guess I'm.
That's going to be the issue of why the Vikings won't be able to finish or win the game. They're not going to be able to run the ball.
Well, I mean, if you don't listen to coach and understand that he's giving you some fantasy knowledge here, then I guess you're trying to be in the doghouse. And speaking of doghouse, Dave, who we putting in the doghouse this week, man? Put the camera on you, man.
Welcome back to Dave's Doghouse. I know it's been a while. I've been saying that it's going to come back, but today is the day that it's back. Now, football season is upon us. There have been some things that have been going on throughout college and pro. But this will be, I believe this is my first college football doghouse inductee. So, this week's doghouse member is a fan base, not necessarily the team, but a fan base. So there was a really hyped up game from this past weekend between the Texas Longhorns and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And on the sideline, while the Longhorns were, celebrating after their win because, most teams predicted that they would lose that game. So they came in and won that game. There were some fans spewing some racist comments out there. So I think it's only right that I put those fans in the doghouse. And they're in the doghouse by themselves. They're not in there with everyone else because I believe what they did was a lot more serious than everyone else. So Alabama fans, Alabama football fans specifically, you are in the doghouse. Go ahead and play my sound, Tomo.
I got you. I told you, man, something going on over here.
You in the doghouse. So go ahead. That's those fans trying to, not get in the doghouse. That's all it is.
They holding me back.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, anytime you get so salty that you gotta make racial suggestions or racial comments against someone just because they're beating your team shows you how low of a frequency that you are in. You're not in your right mind state. Or maybe you are. That's just how you are. But at the end of the day, that is one of the weakest things to do. Is to go at someone's race just because you're losing or because things don't go your way. That's one thing that we don't do here. One thing that I don't think is cool. I don't think it's ever been cool. And I'm not saying that all Alabama fans are racist, but those fans, particularly that night, were. So I don't know the names of these fans that actually did it, but there was an audio that pretty much played it, and you heard it, and it was very loudly. So as long as that happens, just know that you will always have a place in the doghouse by yourself. So Alabama fans, from that night, welcome to the doghouse. My guy, you in the doghouse.
Now, I seen this clip pop up on Twitter, and at first, you see stuff before you see the sound, because Twitter don't give you the best captions. They just post stuff sometimes. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, they turned up on them boys over there. What's going on? Then I clicked the sound. I said, what in the Call of Duty game chat is going on here? And that's exactly what it sounds like. A bunch of kids on Call of Duty game chat just wilding, spewing. It seemed like they forgot about that dock situation. Like we don't got folding chairs around or something. Like I see you trying to get your get back, but it ain't the way you're gonna get back. Coach, you got anything you want to add to that?
It's Bama. I mean,
before you say anything,
I really feel the culture there has never ever changed. They were just always winning. That's all. I think the people in Alabama are always going to be the people in Alabama. That's the colors. Money does a lot when it goes negative, and when you college football, there's a lot of betting in college football, and who doesn't win a lot of money betting on Alabama? So when that money starts getting lost, yeah, we start saying some real bad things to people of a different color. Things we've always maybe thought of, but hey, we're winning now, so he's a good one now. But now that we're losing, now you're a racist slur. It happened to Vince Young. He came out of I knew him, not knew him personally, but I grew up here out in Houston, and growing up in the age that I grew up watching him defeat every high school team. Then he goes to college and defeats every college team. Like, he's never lost, right? Goes into the NFL, has a good rookie season, but then defenses get your number and they see that you're a one-trick pony, and all that praising you were getting turned into some real racist boos in Tennessee because you weren't winning these people money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ugly side of losing when it comes to fans. We're praised for winning and for our athleticism, and when athleticism doesn't pay off in their favor, we're nothing more than what they've always thought of us.
Facts.
Man.
Fact. I do have some update. I do have an update for tonight's game. I know we're talking about the doghouse, but I do have some updates for tonight's game. So it was the Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw is active after being listed questionable, but you have to keep a close eye on him. They're still working through things earlier while he was warming up to see what he could do, but clearly he's not 100%. But he is active for the game tonight.
You said the right tackle?
Left tackle.
Okay. Hassan Reddick about to have a field day. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
he's going to get sacked tonight. Yeah, start the Eagles defense.
As you can see, I'm giving you an update live on the show, and I'm pretty sure this hasn't been alerted on ESPN or Bleacher Report just yet.
And if you're in the comments, you can say something now, because if Dave isn't right and say you got the notification before Dave, now's the time to put him in the doghouse.
I have another one that just happened just now. The Buffalo Bills are expected to have to show interest in free agent Lyle Collins.
All right, let's look, Bama, you're in the doghouse. Let's get out of here, man. Lyle Collins, they really trying to be the Cowboys, man. This is insane.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So live on the show, you get an update.
You said what?
What's the difference between the Cowboys quarterback and the Bills quarterback?
One ain't throw interceptions on Sunday.
That's true.
Oh, it feels good to say that. Dak, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Man, but let's get out of here, fellas. We got some football to watch. We got some predictions that we put on the screen, and we put it on the airwaves. Hopefully, Dave, last time me and you predicted right. Maybe we can go 1-1 for the betterment of the chat.
There you go.
But I'm
gonna say Eagles fans will be happy that we picked them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my last words and then we can get out of here. I'm gonna just say, man, thanks for everybody that's been watching, participating, subscribing. For all the new subscribers, make sure you become a member, because now you're part of a journey that's only escalating and propelling to new levels. So if you weren't here in the beginning, you came in at the right time, because it's only gonna get better from here. So again, click that link, become a member so you can join the chats and turn up with us off air. Coach.
These last words for the NFL itself. Pimps, we got to figure out this problem that we have of paying these quarterbacks this mountain of money for all of them to come in week one to only put up less than 250 yards. Half of you might say the average was less than a touchdown. Some of them didn't even score. Why? Because they got all this money, so now they have to sit out all these preseason games. All they have to do is show up to training camp. So what does that do? Now that means fans have to sit here for the next 4 weeks and actually watch preseason all over again and watch all these. This is crappy football, NFL. I'm gonna be real, because if all of them were in preseason, if all of them were actually doing their jobs even with their paychecks, we'd actually have a good week 1 of football to actually watch. This was good because football was back, but let's be real. There were a lot of contracts on that field this past weekend that were bottomed out. And why? Because none of them went to training camp or none of them went to preseason games. Aaron Rodgers didn't play in one preseason game, but a snap. And where did Achilles go? To the garbage. Now they got to look for a whole nother quarterback. You got to have these people got to practice. These people got to go to work. You guys have to figure out a way to pay them and get them to work. NFL, NBA don't have the problem. They pay NBA players. Them legs get out. They tear something, break something. And guess what? That NBA team is letting that man sit on the bench for however long it is needed for him to get back on the court and do his job. As long as he gets back on the court and does his job. Y'all ready to throw these NFL players to the wash the minute they get hurt. Like, come on. You gotta figure something out because we as fans, we can't keep watching this crap. Everybody got paid and nobody had a good game.
I mean, I don't know how I can follow up with that. I don't know how I can follow up with that. All I gotta say is there was another person's birthday today who happens to be on one of my favorite teams. So happy B-Day to Jimmy Buckets. Enjoy it, my guy.
Say Haslam.
Oh wow. He retired. He retired. He don't count right now. He ain't on the team anymore. Well, he is. We got the Haslam. So technically he's still on the team.
Man. Well, if you're still here, I know some people may have hopped off because they want to go get on the couch, find a comfy spot. Make sure y'all like, rate, subscribe. Man, I said rate like it's a podcast. Matter of fact, it is a podcast. Like, rate, subscribe, click the notification bell, all of that, so you can know when these shows is going out. Again, we're not just one episode, we're not just one show as RCL. We have 3 other shows that provide you great content, and we have great hosts with a lot of energy. So make sure y'all tap into the network, and we catch y'all next time.
Peace.
Start drinking.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.